Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. This is part 4 of my recap for the anime The Last Summoner. Other parts are in the description below. We are almost at 300,000 subscribers, so please consider subscribing. The story continues as Bonnie explains that the number one rule is no killing outside their arena. It doesn't matter if they're the leader of a country or the richest man in the world, everyone must follow the Demon Furnace's rules. She reveals that the men on the Destroyer's side have already graduated from there and should know the rules by now. Hart explains that Bonnie is to be respected, and so they leave. Aji and his friends are grateful for the help. Bonnie avoids any more questions and rushes off. The group have lost her in their chase, but luckily find a traveling merchant named Richard that is willing to give them a ride. They explain everything they have been through, and Dora points out that they are watchers on the side of justice. Richard points out that at the Demon Furnace, there's no good or bad, only rules. He goes on to say that years ago, the Watchers and Destroyers started a war that would engulf the world in flames. To keep tragedy to a minimum, the two sides negotiated a ceasefire. The small island was created, and the two sides now settle disputes peacefully in accordance with the rules in the arena. Stan wonders what happens to rule breakers, and Richard explains that no one would ever do such a thing. Whoever does would be making an enemy of the Watchers and Destroyers alike. They finally reach the town, and Richard asks a bartender to bring out the goods. The group enjoy a drink and find that it has actually healed all their wounds. They want to drink even more, and Richard thinks to himself how the idiots don't really know how addictive it is. They have racked up quite a large bill, but Richard says that he will take care of it, and they can pay him later. Furnace Town is a lively place, but it is called Loser's Town. That is because everyone that lives there has lost at the Demon Furnace. They stop for a moment at an equipment shop and admire all the wonderful clothing. They all have their clothes patched up, and Richard says they can pay him later for this too. Aji no longer wants to tour, and they head to the registration hall. They make their way up the steps of the Demon Furnace and can hardly hold back their excitement. The group reach the top just in time to hear Bonnie welcome everyone. She states that people have come from every corner of the earth to take part, and nothing divides them. They all fall under the name of summoners. They will either become a legend or die trying. Everyone is inspired by her speech, and Bonnie tells them to enter one of the 4 doors to register. Our group is stopped, and they are told that the registration fee of 2 million is due in advance. Stan pays for himself and explains that he hacked the accounts of the cartel to get the money. A man recommends they head to a different door and pays in cash. The second door accepts summoners based on beauty, and Dora reveals her true form to get in instantly. She takes Aji along, but Miaou gets instantly rejected for not having the looks or the figure. The third door is a test of strength though, and Miaou embarrasses the man before her when she passes easily. Richard meets with them inside and explains that he got in through the final door, which tests someone's reputation. This is for the ultra rich and famous, and explains that many famous people fake their deaths so they can join the trials. Dora wonders if Richard is famous, and he thinks about how he is actually an infamous criminal, one of the 10 most wanted men in the world. Bonnie then shows everyone the Demon Furnace arena that has 100 floors. The competitions are like a stairway to heaven, and it gets harder the further down you go, but the rewards also get better. Some men discuss how they haven't gotten past the 5th floor after several attempts, and Richard explains that the furthest he got was the 9th. Dora declares that she will blast through to the 100th floor, and Aji can only wonder what floor he will find his father in. Bonnie shows them the beginning checkpoint and explains that there is one every 10 floors. They are to stay the night in the luxury hotel, and the tournament's first elimination round will begin the next day. Miaou sniffs out some food, and the group take off to find it. The man from earlier explains that only newbies eat the food there, and they don't even know that the trials have already begun. The men discuss how that floor's boss is the world's top-ranked trap master. He is adept at various methods of hunting and takes pleasure in tormenting contestants. Aji and friends take a bath, and Dora wonders why Aji still has clothes on. He explains that he is only 16 and isn't used to bathing with catgirls and crossdressers. Bonnie appears on the TV and explains that this year's MVP is Hannah. Everyone is excited to see her, and Aji wants them all to do their best. They head to sleep, and the men discuss how only the veterans know to stay in the lobby. A weird sound wakes Aji, and he is surprised to see that several traps have been activated. They have no way out of the room, and Dora realizes that her ancient cleavers are the only answer. She doesn't make a scratch though, and her cleavers are destroyed. No other weapon seems to work, but Aji has an idea and asks her to conjure up a skeleton key. They make it out of the room to hear that other rooms are going through the same thing. They head to find their friends, and Aji prepares to kill a giant cockroach. It is actually Miaou though, and she just did that to escape. Others begin to escape from the rooms as well, and we see that a baby is among them. Everyone seems to be accounted for, but Stan's room has blood coming out of it. Miao hopes that the little weirdo is okay, and they are surprised to see that he falls from the ceiling. The boss of the first floor announces that the first knockout round has begun on schedule. The rules for that round are that there are no rules, and in order to win, you must only survive. Everyone must run as the floor becomes more and more dangerous. Our group would encounter several traps and see that the floor has begun to collapse. Stan is almost lost to a sea of lava along with some others, and Dora and Aji rescue them at the last moment. The boss explains that no matter how many they help, someone will always fall elsewhere. His night of madness has only begun, and we see that the participants are having a difficult time. Even the veterans must run for their lives, and our group find a door with notes from past contestants on it. They all contradict each other though, and our group doesn't know which to believe. Aji forces his way in, and the boss named Renault congratulates them for passing the first floor. He explains that 30 have passed, 49 were severely injured, and 13 died. Some contestants are very upset with how inhumane he is and decide to attack. They would come to regret this though, as Renault subdues them easily. He reminds them that it isn't against the rules to kill a boss, and welcomes them all to try. Renault reveals that every contestant gets a wooden treasure chest as a reward for passing the first floor. Aji gets 3 crystal shards and 1 saffron ring, and Miao gets some furnace dollars. Stan hasn't opened his yet as he wants to beg to God first, and finds that his is filled with explosives. Renault says that's the jackpot though, and reveals that it's the ticket to the second floor. The ground collapses from the explosion, and they are startled by Bonnie, who pretends to be a ghost. She was just helping them relax and assures them that all the other floors will be fair play. Especially the second floor, since Bonnie is actually the boss there. The next trial is simply a race. Lighting the room reveals a large racetrack, and Bonnie explains that there aren't any rules. Only 20 laps around the track are needed to pass, and the first 15 contestants to complete them wins. It will be broadcasted live for everyone to see, and Aji hopes his dad or Hannah will watch them. Miao is most confident about her speed, and Dora explains that her wings make her much faster. Stan is usually heavily dependent on vehicles, but without them, Aji worries for him. The veterans discuss how they are prepared and have a secret weapon. Their secret weapon isn't very impressive though, and Bonnie announces that the race is about to begin. Everyone gets ready for a brief moment and the race begins. Elsewhere, one of the destroyers questions Hart if he is sure that he wants to wake a dangerous man up. Hart is certain and explains that it is the best gift he could give Aji. Miao uses her cheetah speed to take the lead, but she is closely followed by a flying squirrel ninja. Bonnie explains that in third place is the high school student embracing his girlfriend as they fly. Several other contestants are catching up, and that includes a father who brought his kid along. The manga artist behind Hunter x Hunter is apparently also in the race, and is disappointed to see that he has been spotted. Hiro takes off to avoid signing autographs and draws speed lines to increase his velocity. Bonnie is knocked back and points out that it was the dark horse Stan. He is on a rocket and instantly passes several other contestants. He explains that he stole it from a nearby military base. The fastest contestants are taking a huge lead that has them several laps ahead of the slowest. Aji notices something though. The last place participants are beginning to realize that they don't have to be fast, they just have to slow everyone else down. One of the veterans feels betrayed, but the other veteran explains that there are no friends in the demon furnace, only enemies. Dora isn't able to evade the man's bullets, so Aji says they should just return them to sender. Contestants are breaking out all their abilities to gain an advantage, and Miao attempts to stop the man using nerve gas. She isn't able to attack air, but explains that she has made a friend that is able to control it. Another contestant uses his sword to intimidate contestants, and Stan attempts to hit him with his missile. It doesn't work, and Stan must be saved by Hiro. He explains that friendship and effort are always more important than victory, and finishes his opponent with his ink stroke slash. Hiro agrees to an autograph for Stan, and it is announced that there are now less than 15 contestants left. All they have to do is make it to the finish line and they will win. Elsewhere, members of the destroyers duel each other and find that they are evenly matched. Flame uses her exceptional gun wielding, but Shadow is able to counter her every attack. Their fight is paused, and Flame expresses her frustrations about not being able to just invade the demon furnace. The younger destroyer is named Space, and she explains that she visited the demon furnace when they were on the island. Her several attempts at getting in failed, and she was even chased by security. They determined that it must have a special barrier surrounding it since Space's abilities didn't work. Space reveals that she ended up just wandering the town and found an old television that she bought. The girls aren't very interested, but Space shows them that she is able to see what is happening in the demon furnace. They are upset to see how far Aji and his friends have gotten, and we see that the next floor holds a cooking competition for them. Of course, this is where Aji really shines, and the judges fall in love with his cooking. Miawu isn't quite as skilled, but manages to make a nice fruit bowl. The competitors move to the 4th floor, where music decides who will move on. Chaos ensues, but Flame has had enough, and states that they are having it way too easy. Heart arrives, and Flame explains that it pisses her off to watch their enemies stuff their faces and have fun. Heart realizes that the girls have never been to the demon furnace before, and agrees to let them go visit Aji. He instructs them to take someone with them though, and to tell Aji that he has sent them all a gift. Back at the demon furnace, Bonnie explains to the elders that this season's competition is still going. 92 contestants signed up, and only 15 remain. She lists off all the remaining contestants and explains that half of the ones that have already failed signed up again, and will start over from the 1st floor. The elders are pleased to see that everything is going as planned, and Bonnie reveals that they have successfully collected 30,000 tons of spiritual energy. One of the elders explains that the teleport gate is ready and instructs her to activate the Sacrificial program. Bonnie is sent to the 100th floor, where she finds the source of all spirits, Goddess Pandora. All the spiritual energy gathered from the competition is then sacrificed to her in the hopes of waking the goddess from her slumber.